Alright, here we go, another Z80 Computer video, and this time, once again, I'm going to be demonstrating the Bluetooth capabilities of this. In my last video, I used the Bluetooth to connect to my Motorola Razr, and that was pretty neat, but today I'm going to be connecting up to this Google Pixel Android smartphone. And this has more functionality, and so there's just more we can do with it. Just for a quick overview, in case you didn't see my last one, basically how this works is the Z80 Computer has an HC05 Bluetooth module. This is very commonly used in Arduino projects that implement Bluetooth, but in this case I'm using it in a Z80 Computer. Basically the Z80 CPU talks to a serial UART, which is a Z80 SIO, that stands for Serial Input Output Controller, which then creates a serial stream to talk to the HC05 Bluetooth module. So anyways, I'm going to be demonstrating some of the functionality of that. So first thing I have to do is I have to initialize a few things in the Z80 Computer before I can actually connect to my smartphone over Bluetooth. So the way this works is I have some pre-programmed commands inside the assembly code program in the Z80 that basically initializes the process of starting a Bluetooth connection to the smartphone. So the way I do those is I set these, the way I run those functions is I set these switches and then I latch basically a data byte into a temporary register. The CPU then reads it and then goes through a list and chooses which function to execute. So you're not really seeing what's going on under the hood, but basically I have these pre-programmed functions that execute different commands to initialize Bluetooth. So I'm going to go ahead and start that process right now. So this is just testing the circuit between the SIO and the Bluetooth. If it's 255, that means I had an invalid ASCII character, so I got to try that again. There we go. Okay, so this is when it does 7975 1310. Those are ASCII characters that it's displaying one at a time. That's OK, carriage return, line feed. So that's just demonstrating that we have a good serial stream between the Z80 SIO and the HC05 Bluetooth module. Okay, so now I'm going to start the commands to connect up. Okay, after this one, the smartphone should receive a request to connect. Okay, pair with Z80, yes. Default code is 1234. You'll see the, whoops, saw the Z80 acknowledged there. Good. Okay, so now we're paired up over Bluetooth. Alright, a couple other things I got to do really quick. So what you're going to see me do in a second is open up a Bluetooth serial terminal app that we can then use to communicate. And I'm going to go ahead and open that up right now. Here we go. So, just about ready to connect up here. So select Z80. You know, sometimes you have to try this a few times. Not really sure why that is, but there's a little bit of trial and error in this. Let's try one more time. What's going on here? There it is. Okay. Yeah, sometimes you just got to give it a few attempts. So notice when it connects, I got this little blue LED that turns on. So now what I can do, okay, so now we are officially paired up and I have this Bluetooth terminal open. So I have these shortcut buttons on the bottom here with different ASCII codes already pre-programmed. So here's the most basic one. It's just letter A followed by carriage return and line feed. So I'm going to I'm going to send that really quick, and you'll see 651310 flash on the display. Alright, so it basically just does one ASCII character at a time. The next one I have programmed is Hello Z80. So you're going to see each of those characters displayed one at a time in terms of an ASCII code. Whoops, that was... when it displays 255, that means it read an invalid ASCII character, and that's just an error handler I programmed in. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, next one. Just my name. Let's do that one really quick. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so part of the reason it has problems with that sometimes is the HC05 Bluetooth module has its own internal serial clock, and the Z80 SIO inside my computer here is timed off a 555 timer, and if you don't have those two serial clocks perfectly matched up, sometimes they get out of sync, and then it'll read an invalid ASCII character. So that's basically what's happening when it displays the 255. It means it read an invalid character, and that display just shows that it's basically skipping the character it just read, and it's going to prepare to read the next one. So it's actually a fix I added recently, because before, if it did that, it would actually hang the program. So let's move on to the next preset button here. Bluetooth is cool. Alright, let's do it. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. Last one. It's just the alphabet. Notice, by the way, every single one of these messages is followed up by carriage return line feed. That's when you see the 1310 at the end of a message. So this one's nice, though, because since the characters are going in sequence, you'll see the ASCII codes count up. So this one's really intuitive. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, and so of course I can type in random stuff. Let's see here. I'll just say, what's up? Whoops. Gotta learn how to spell. So I can send that over ASCII. Well, I mean, excuse me, I can send that over Bluetooth, and it'll display, it'll display any text string I want to send. It'll display as a series of ASCII characters. Let's send that really quick. Okay, so I think you get the point. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'm really excited that I got this working. It took quite a bit of work to figure out, but like I've been working on this Bluetooth feature for several months now, and it's really like all come together like in the last couple weeks, and especially like getting it to talk to the smartphone with this app, like that all just happened like in the last week. So it's been pretty fun playing around with it. Of course, this isn't the end of the project. I've got more stuff planned. At some point, I should probably figure out a better display. This numeric display is something I built, months ago, actually almost a year ago, when I was, in the early stages of this project. At the time, it was a very simple way to just, send a single byte of data to the display just to see what's going on in the computer. Really, this input was the same thing. This is like a holdover from the early days of this project when I was just looking for a very simple way to input and output data. But now, as things are starting to get a little more advanced, and I'm starting to do a little more complex stuff, it's starting to become a little bit inconvenient to use this very basic input and output. And that's actually one of the really nice things about this, because with this Bluetooth feature now, I could potentially, use the smartphone as a wireless interface for this computer. That could be a really good use for it. It's a more convenient way to enter data. But of course I still have to, hit the switches and, latch data in with the buttons before I can connect up in the first place. But overall, it's working pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, so I'm going to keep adding new features to this thing, and when I come up with something that I think is worthwhile to share, then I'll make another video. Anyways, actually, you know what? One more thing I want to demonstrate before I finish this up. I want to show you how I disconnect, because that in itself is kind of neat. So I got one more code I enter to disconnect, and what will happen is I'll enter this command. You'll see the app close, and also the little blue light will turn off too when it disconnects. Let's see if this works. There we go, and it's also got a little, a little ASCII message it sends when it, breaks the connection. And of course, the light turned off. So yeah, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. So yeah, it's working pretty well. Okay, so now that I've disconnected, now I think we're actually done here. All right, thanks for watching.